What's going on, my Chicago Sky fans? Man, we got some things to talk about. On today's episode, I want to break down and talk about and ask the question, is Jeff Pagliocca the right guy to be leading the Chicago Sky at this point in time? Because there have been some concerning things to come out about Jeff Pagliocca. And then we're going to go over the details of the WNBA's upcoming expansion draft and what that could mean for the Chicago Sky's offseason. We're going to get into all that plus more. We got a lot of details and some rumors around the Chicago Sky, even maybe some rumors about who they could pursue for their next head coach. We're getting into all that and more right after this.
Welcome to Chicago Sky Central, and here's your host, Haize.
What's going on, Sky fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Sky Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Sky related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chicago Sky Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today. And man, it's been a little while since we came to you guys live and talked about the firing of Coach Teresa Weatherspoon. It was something that surprised us. It's been a little under a week since that happened, and there's still more details, speculation coming out on what could have led to this. Now, we did get a release from the Chicago Sky. Initially, I thought it was going to be, and I think it was reported that it was going to be an actual press conference. We didn't have anything. We had a press release, not really anything major there, but it was something that kind of let us know what the Sky were thinking when they fired Teresa Weatherspoon, saying this: after careful consideration, we have decided it is in the best interest of the organization to part ways with head coach Teresa Weatherspoon. We're deeply appreciative of Coach Spoon's contributions to the Sky and the energy and passion she brought to the head coaching role. We thank her for inspiring a competitive, resilient spirit across the team, synonymous with Chicago Sky basketball. So they moved on from a coach that they said was kind of instrumental in building kind of the identity of the Chicago Sky, right? And so the questions, of course, have been who are they going to get to replace Teresa Weatherspoon? Teresa Weatherspoon, who got a great kind of a standing ovation at a New York Liberty game, and she deserved it, right? I want to be clear here. In no way do I think that the Chicago Sky should have fired Teresa Weatherspoon via where this roster is. But there's been some wild speculation on things that just don't make sense. And so I want to spend some time in this episode separating the sense from the nonsense and the nonsense from the bullshit. We're gonna spend some time separating in that. First, for the people that have been speculating that Teresa Weatherspoon was in any way fired because of the Marina Mabrey trade, you're stupid. I'm sorry, you're stupid. No, she was not fired because of the Marina Mabrey trade. She just was not. That's not why she was Mabrey trade, not Mayberry. She was not fired because of that. That's just dumb. That's speculation. That's trying to find a narrative where there is not one at. Now, where there is some truth to some of the things that we've heard, right? And in regards to it, is that we are hearing now that Jeff Pagliocca, since he came to the Chicago Sky, keep in mind, he was brought on after Teresa Weatherspoon was hired. We've heard some things that Jeff Pagliocca never really quite got along with some of the staff there, and maybe even never really believed in them. Now, I look at it in this way. You have to separate your personal feelings from bullshit, and sometimes you got to handle business. And while, yeah, the Sky didn't have the type of success as far as the win number that you can say you cannot fire this coach because of XYZ. I think when you look at the player relationships and the fact that the Sky were in the middle of being they just not even in the middle, they just started a rebuild, right? And Teresa Weatherspoon was a rookie head coach that, yes, she made some mistakes out there that most rookie head coaches are going to make. Some lineup, some things that sometimes the offense was stagnant. Part of that was because we didn't have any shooting. And in a way, my own personal opinion, this is separating from reports and my own personal opinion, it feels like Jeff Pagliocca built a roster that was flawed, and a scapegoat had to be Teresa Weatherspoon. Now, even in that being said, there were some legitimate shortcomings of Teresa Weatherspoon as a head coach, but you have to let somebody get some time to come out of that and work themselves out of it when you know you have a rookie head coach there. But Jeff Pagliocca is somebody who's been an athletic director. He's played at one point in time. He's learning the aspect of the player relationships and the relations part of being a GM in professional sports. And I don't think he's handling it the best at all. And so the question that comes down to it is that is Jeff Pagliocca going to be the right guy going forward for the Chicago Sky? And I got to say this. You cannot eliminate the things that Jeff Pagliocca has done right just because we don't agree. I do not agree with some of the things that Jeff Pagliocca has done. I want to be clear there. I don't agree with the firing of Teresa Weatherspoon. That's my own personal opinion. But in being fair, and one thing that you guys will see from me is I try to always look at things from both sides. That's just how I try to look at things in life. That's how I try to look at things as a podcaster and as a host of a show. For the interest of conversation, I don't try to give just my perspective. I try to look at it from all sides. That's just who I am as a person. Flaws and all, I try to look at things from both sides. And in fairness, I can see some of the things that could be a sign that you want to move on from a coach. I still don't think that this is where we are right now. But you cannot, people who are saying that Jeff Pagliocca is terrible, I'm sorry, he's just not. Making the move to be aggressive to go out and get Angel Reese, that was a Jeff Pagliocca move. That it just was. All the moves that have come since making the decision to move on from Clea Copper, to go from a team that had no first-round picks to 2 first-round picks, to get Camila Cardoso, to get Angel Reese, to sign Kennedy Carter as a camp invite, that was Jeff Pagliocca. And in fairness, I think he's being an idiot right now that does not eliminate some of the good things that he's done. Now, the question is more of those good decisions going to be in the future? This decision I don't agree with. I agree with a lot. Again, the Marina Mabry trade. She requested a trade. He moved on from her. He was able to get another first-round pick in a draft that is going to be deep. And to that, that's smart. Jeff Pagliocca has set the Chicago Sky up to have future assets. But you can have all the good players in the world. You can have all the assets in the world. And I think that as Jeff Pagliocca is being somebody who's been a trainer, he has an eye for development and talent. But you have to have somebody to bring that talent together. You aren't going to be the coach, and you don't have the skill set to be a coach. So now you have to go out and get, because the ownership group went out and got Teresa Weatherspoon. Jeff Pagliocca didn't go out and get Teresa Weatherspoon. So now you got to show you can do better. You have to show that you can do better. And K-Stone said he looked like he didn't want Angel during the behind the scenes. No, and this is what I mean. This is why I try to separate facts from speculation and narrative. Jeff Pagliocca wanted Angel Reese. I know that for a fact. Know that for 100% fact. Now, were there some other players on the board that he liked? Yes. Was there a player on the board that he didn't think would be there? Yes. I have it on good authority through a former Chicago Sky assistant coach that I have a connection with, that Jeff Pagliocca was on board with Angel Reese. But there was a player that was on the board that the Sky did not think were going to be there, that he wanted more consideration to maybe go over Angel Reese. So that's just the facts of the matter. Again, whatever it is. But with that said, Jeff Pagliocca, now that you went out and moved on from Keystone says, I watched the video, his facial expression was not giving that. Listen, and like I've said before, people people read into what they want to, and I'm not saying, listen, you have your right to feel the way you do. I'm not trying to take away from how you feel. You have the right to feel the way that you do. I'm saying that via what I know through sources, Jeff Pagliocca wanted Angel Reese, but there was another player that popped up that they didn't think to have. Get your headphones. Is my boy Bobby coming in here? Oh, Steve-O's in the building.
That's the word.
I didn't think you'd be home from work, Brody. I'm glad to have you.
I just got home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I was talking about some of the things as far as Jeff Pagliocca and how he's still done some right things. Now, I have some questions about going forward, but the conversation that we're on is Jeff Pagliocca the right guy to personally lead the Chicago Sky? And what I was about to lead into is that you've moved on from a head coach you did not hire. And to me, a lot of this now going forward means, who do you get now to replace the head coach that the players loved, that instilled kind of a system? Because if Teresa Weatherspoon wasn't your coach, it's not foreign throughout sports. We've seen it through every single sport that's ever existed. When a new GM comes in, they want their head coach. Now, if Teresa Weatherspoon wasn't your head coach because you didn't hire her, it's tantamount that you go out and get the next head coach and you get this decision right. How do you feel about that, Steve-O?
Yeah. Especially if you're gonna make a decision like this. Like, I understand, like, from the standpoint of This is not the person you pick. Y'all might not have different viewpoints. You probably had different visions and such and such. And that's why we didn't necessarily like the idea that they was picking one and the other, not in the same mind frame. Like if you're gonna do it, pick the GM first or pick them both at the same time. So with that being said, I mean, Jeff, that ain't your technically it ain't, but it is your problem. So you decided to go away from this situation in year one. You seen the development part it came with. You seen the down parts of our coaching side. Yes, we understood the parts, but when it comes to personalities, that's the next part of phase of coaching that a lot of coaches don't get it down packed because it's two sides to each coin. Some coaches got it down when it comes to X and O's, but can't get the personality stuff right. And some, like Doc Rivers, can get the personality stuff, can get you ready to run through a brick wall, but they can't tell you how to do a pick and roll properly. That's just how it is. So, but I feel like in a year, you did not do enough to see if she had enough in her bag. So therefore, with you going away from this thing, saying this is not the person you want to be in the future, and you kind of listed or some of the things that trickled out there via other people why you didn't want to do with it, you better bring in a hell of a candidate. And a candidate that's going to not only gain the respect of the locker room, but it's also going to be impactful way more than Teresa ever was, especially in the win column.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Now, Steve, on something that I know that you are against, and we can have an interesting conversation on this. I don't know if you saw this or not. This comes from Christopher Smith, who wrote that he has heard rumblings that the Chicago Sky are interested in LSU's head coach, Kim Mulkey. Now, here's the thing, both for and against this argument. LSU's head coach we know how good she is as a head coach. She's been able to get titles. She's a good head coach. She's an X and O's person. But to me, this would come off more like you're making a move to pacify Angel Reese because you know you pissed her off with the Teresa Weatherspoon firing. And that point, I don't want you to make a move to make somebody happy. I want you to make the right move, and through getting the right coach, that makes your players happy. But how do you feel about that?
Exactly, you put it how you put it. Shout out to my boy Ray in the comments for sure. But yeah, like when it comes to Kim Mulkey, she's a Doc Rivers. I realized that she's a who else? In the college game, she's a Calipari. When it comes down to it, she's a hell of a recruit. She's a hell of a motivator. She makes you believe in yourself. She holds you down. But when it comes down to it, I kind of knew these things at Baylor, but that second year at LSU made me realize what she was as a coach and what she is as a coach. Bro, that might be Billy Donovan's sister. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, she don't make adjustments. She tends to think that if we just play old school sort of fundamental basketball, make free throws, run no chances, make sure I play defense, you're gonna win the game. And some aspects, yes. But at the same time, I also seen you play Angel Reese in her last year as if you can run the same scheme as you won when you won the championship, and that led you to lose a lot more games than you lost prior. So yeah, as a coaching style, I don't like the fit. At the end of the day, she's just gonna feed the bigs, and that's kind of been her playing style. And if you are gonna run a Kim Mulkey, you better have a dynamic point guard come up in here, because that's how she runs. She has freakishly abnormal bigs, and she has amazing guard play, and she let them go at it. So, and that's not necessarily somebody I want to go up against the coaches that's in this league. So, and plus, I don't think Kim will leave college. If she was gonna go to the W, she would have left by now.
And that's the thing that was, and this is why don't always believe what you see written in articles, right? Because to me, this screams of a writer that's generating a story because they know it's going to get clicks rather than something that makes sense. Kim Mulkey makes $3.5 million at LSU. The average WNBA coach makes at most $1.5 million. Where the league has not reached the point of a Dawn Staley, a Kim Mulkey, or anything coming to the WNBA while they're still at the height of their powers. Now, if they would have offered Kim Mulkey a GM and coaching role, maybe then, but the Sky moved on from that. Yeah,
I
I
still
agree
don't.
with
I
that.
like Kim. Kim went to LA. She from Louisiana. She played at Louisiana Tech, I believe. So like she went to for this job for a reason. I feel like she's gonna end her career in Louisiana. I just when it comes to like you said, I think you put in right there. They're not in the right space to make a long tenured got everything I want right now, coach. Leave that
Yeah,
situation to go to the W. Unless you just have basketball crazy minds like Becky who wants to not only go to the NBA, but she want to go everywhere.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a fact. That's a fact.
But yeah, Kim should want to stay there. She's good with people. She's good with young ladies. I don't know. I don't think it will be. Yeah. Now that I think about it, her with young, grown women. I don't know. Like she's just a
Oh
motherly
yeah,
figure.
listen. This writer's completely trolling because I looked at this article earlier today and it just had Kim Mulkey's name listed there. They updated it and they also added Dawn Staley's name.
Yeah, she
There's no way
man,
Dawn Staley's
she
listed there.
Don
Come on, bro.
really
Come
Don,
on.
there is not one play
There's not a
Asia.
fucking way.
If
There's not a fucking
Asia
way.
if Asia could have make her come out, there's nobody in this world can make the
There's
guy to
no
go to
fucking
the
way,
W.
bro. There's
There's
no
nobody.
fucking way. There's no fucking way. None at all. Zero, bro. Like if somebody told me in my face that Dawn Staley was coming to coach the Chicago Sky, I smack them and their mama for lying to me.
Yeah, and I'll
Yeah,
be and now I'll be full confident I won't go to jail because I know that he lied.
yeah, that's a fact. That's a
Straight
fact.
lie. Not
So
happening.
when it comes down to Jeff Pagliocca, how do you feel about him? Because I know this is kind of the title of the episode and everything. Is he the right person, talent wise? We talked about the coaching search. You got to get this coaching search right. His evaluation of talent, because we've only seen one off season of signings, one off season of draft picks, and a season of having to make trades because players have requested trades. Damn it, my light went out. How do you feel now about the the talent evaluation part? Because the Sky are still very early into their rebuild. They got 2 first-round picks. How confident do you feel in Jeff Pagliocca to be able to evaluate the talent to bring here to the Chicago Sky?
It's just way too early. It's just too early to see. Like for
Mhm.
one, you joined well, not necessarily joined the league, but you became the GM at a time where if you messed up in this draft, you were just an idiot. Like there was no way that you can really mess up in this draft, especially you having 2 picks. So there was
Yeah.
no way to mess that up. I think next year, with it being a talented draft, but not generational, I would say per se, this will show you if he really have the mind to find people, even people we don't even necessarily have on our radar that he likes and see what they can turn them into. And even I can't even say for Italian evaluations for really going to get anybody because he wasn't really allowed to go get anybody that he wanted. The only trade he allowed to happen was to Mabry, and he already knew there was pretty much nothing he was gonna really get from that besides some picks.
Mhm.
But yeah, like I think it's just too early for me to say. It's almost like if the GM that came into the 2003 and they the Cleveland GM and LeBron was right there and he took him. Like the next year you can't just say he's the best just because he took LeBron. Like you never know.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. So we'll see. We'll see what Jeff Pagliocca has cooking, and I'll say this puts a complete spotlight now on what Jeff Pagliocca does next. And I don't know if he's quite ready for what that comes with. Because, like, listen,
Yeah.
coming in, drafting Camila Cardoso, drafting Angel Reese, that was already going to bring some excitement. Teresa Weatherspoon was already instilled now here. But now that you fired Teresa Weatherspoon, the eyes now are on you because now you feel clearly that you can do a better job. So go out there and show us what the hell you can do.
Yeah. You definitely made the damn I know what I'm doing as move with this. So you better know what the hell you doing. My thing is there was not too much on you or history on you in the past when you got this job. So I don't really know your relationship span, like who you can reach out to for even to have this job. Cause that's another thing. Like, it's one thing, like now I don't know who you could go to because to be honest, if I'm coaches, I'm side-eyeing this whole organization if they come to me talking about I want to interview.
That's a
Like it's
listen.
different. It's different if he knew somebody. I don't know if he knows anybody because we don't know how long he really been in this business for real.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's done player development before, so I think there was some trust there, especially with the Sky rebuilding. on his evaluation of talent. I truly think that that's part of the reason he got this job. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, it takes more than that to be a great GM.
Yep.
And now you got the spotlight on you. You got the juice now. So show us what you can do. That's it.
Yeah. Now I hope you're ready for it, because if you F up, your ass is grass. Hey, you a lot to you. Like, I hope you know what city you in. Like, the pressure is high. I hope. I want to do. He know how much the stakes is on him right now.
I don't think he does, bro. I don't think that he does, and especially with that, it's who you fired as well. Like, if it was any other, like, I think if you took any other rookie head coach that did the same exact thing Teresa Weatherspoon did. I mean, as far as everything else this season, with the exact same, built relationships with players, but Weatherspoon is such a beloved person in this league, for the history of this league, for this game, that you are automatically going to put a spotlight on yourself. That already, when you look at what came out about Gabby Williams, and that's another thing. The way that this franchise has been run before was not Jeff Pagliocca, but you are inheriting that view of this franchise. And you've now extended the shitty view that this franchise has around the league. And I get it. They announced when there's going to be a groundbreaking ceremony for the facilities and things like that. And that's all great to see and hear. But we want to know who the fuck about to coach this team. Don't nobody give a shit about that right now.
Yeah, y'all fucked up Sylvia. Y'all fucked up Elena. Y'all, Candace got the fuck on. Courtney got the fuck on. Courtney Williams got the fuck on. Kai got the fuck on. That's 5 players that's significant in this whole organization. All of them wanted to go. So yeah, you're inheriting some shit. So I hope you know what you're doing, and you gotta strike, because we ain't looking good right now.
That's a fact. That's a fact. So we'll see what Jeff Pagliocca got cooking. I don't know when to expect an announcement or a coaching decision to be made. I hope it's sooner rather than later.
On a random ass Sunday night.
Yeah, bro. It probably will be, bro. While Bears games going on or some shit like that. But before we get out of there, I wanted to talk about, since we now have the details of how the expansion draft is going to work. A lot of people have been asking about that. Basically, since expansion draft was announced. So the expansion draft will be held the day after my birthday on December 6th. And that's going to allow the Valkyries, Golden State, to draft from all 12 WNBA teams. And 10 days before the draft, the players will have to, the franchises will have to submit which teams that they will be protecting. They will be able to protect 6 players as protected from their roster, and it's going to work out a little bit differently than before. So they can protect any of their own upcoming free agents, both restricted and unrestricted free agents. Anybody else can go into the WNBA draft. So I think we got 4 players that I think are going to be guaranteed protected. Angel, Camilla, Elizabeth Williams, that they just signed her, Kennedy Carter as well, are probably all going to be protected.
I'll say Michaela.
Michaela Onyewerede, we can put her in there as well. Probably going to be protected as well. Now, the way that this works is that the Valkyrie can then can choose any player, even unrestricted free agents. If they do choose an unrestricted free agent from a team, that means they gain their rights. They gain first rights to negotiate with that player, but that player could still leave them in free agency, technically. That's why they're doing this even before the start of free agency. How do you feel about these expansion draft rules coming up here, Steve-O?
I mean, I feel like it's pretty set in stone. Like, you just gotta, like, it is what it is. Like, we've had years to, well, I'm not say years, but you had a good year or two to prepare yourself and to have a mindset of if not, prepare yourself to put yourself in a position where you can have 5 to 6 players that you already know that you's off the list. But yeah, it really just come down to, it's almost like another draft process. Who is a non-negotiable? Who is a negotiable? That's all it is. Like, to me, I feel like it's very clear for us. I think Dana, Izzy, who else is that? Diamond, like people like that. All that is up for grabs. Probably LA, Lindsay's probably, all of them might be up for grabs. Like, at the end of the day, so yeah, I don't really have a problem with the rules so far, because they've known it longer than us, and they've had years to prepare themselves.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And I think this does, because that means that rosters have to be submitted by November 26th. Do you think they have that gives them an unofficial date of when the next head coach has to be hired by November 26th, before then, to help make this decision on what's going to be happening with the roster?
Yeah, because I feel like the people that need the most time figuring that out now is the people that's not playing. The
Mhm.
players that's already playing, the team that's already playing, they already know who's a non-negotiable, who's a negotiable or not. Us, like people like us, Atlanta, like LA's, the even like Phoenix, like a lot of those players could be up for grabs that we don't know about just because we don't know what their thought process as in because like for Phoenix, they've tried to be in this winning situation, admit it. They could go a completely different direction or they could be sick of somebody on that team. Like there's a lot of things we don't know. Like some people, the relationships we don't know relationships these organizations have with some of these players. So maybe there was some of them coming to them like y'all already know I ain't even fuck with you like that. So let me go on and get into this franchise draft. You ain't even got to worry about me. You I already know you like that heifer across the hallway anyway. She took my spot last week. So yeah, y'all might as well already do it. So yeah, I think it helps the people that's already not playing the most because they need the most time.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I overall, I think the Sky are in such a place where they don't have to worry about losing anybody that they don't want to lose. I think everybody that they're going to want to protect, they're going to be able to protect, and that's a good place to be in as a franchise. That is one
I
of the
like the
benefits.
number count. I think
Yeah,
I like six. It's
six
six,
is
right?
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like six.
so I think that's a good place to be in when it comes down to it. And yeah, we'll see what that brings about for the Chicago Sky. But we're gonna have an exciting offseason where usually the WNBA kind of dies completely out. I think now with having an expansion
Nope.
draft, that it's not going to really die out. There's going to be a lot of speculation about who and what's protected. Then we're going to have the expansion draft to cover. We'll probably be live for that expansion draft and then go off what that means for the rosters at that point in time.
And we
Yeah,
don't have a coach. That's another thing.
that's another thing too coming down the pipeline at some point is us getting the coach. So
And I see people in the chat talking about D Wade. D Wade is not going to talk about nothing that's Angels dropping is already been pre-recorded. So don't expect her to say how she really feels on that podcast till a couple weeks from now.
yeah,
Just letting y'all know now.
and even then they may
I don't think she
we'll see.
will. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't think she really
I
gonna
don't
talk
think she
about it
will
for real.
either. Good question here from Sherry. Why would you protect a restricted free agent if they can only take one unrestricted free agent from the whole league? What? No, they can take a bunch of them from the league,
Yeah,
but
they can take any. Yeah,
yeah, but you
yeah.
would
If you're,
protect the. Go ahead.
go ahead. No, I was going to say they could take whatever they want if they're not saved in as that's the people you want to keep.
And you would protect a restricted free agent anyway if you want to keep that restricted free agent on your
Yeah.
team. Like Kennedy Carter is a restricted free agent. You're going to protect her because if you don't, she's part of your future. So,
Yeah.
that's what it comes down to as well.
If somebody go instantly look on the list, say, "Oh, Kenny Carter ain't on y'all," bloop, gone just like that.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. But yeah, that's it, man. Anything left, Steven, before we get up out of here?
Jeff, yeah, the clock has started. You are now on the clock.
Yep. Yep, you are officially on the clock there, my boy. And we'll see. It's all on you now. Like, and that listen, and just because you get a name that people may like or whatever, it's still going to be under a microscope to see what type of success and system and things that they run. And
we still won 13 games, bro.
Yeah, we still won 13 games. We could have very well won between 15, 18, somewhere in there had we had health for the full, but maybe even more than that had we had health for this full season. So there's still expectations around the Sky team. Yeah, we're a rebuilding team, but we're in a much different place of a rebuild than people usually are right now. We got Quita in the building. We got to get Quita on for a live stream once. She says, I have no confidence in the Sky ownership to get a good coach. The way they did Teaspoon is on all good coaches' mind. Hey,
that's what I just told you. I don't know if Jeff having any relationships outside of that because, like I said, that's the only saving grace he would have. I don't think he built no relationships with anybody. It's too early. So,
yeah,
like I said, I think he made a very a reactionary decision. So,
yeah,
you better figure it out, shit.
What? Hold on. So why are you just here lying?
Who lied? Oh,
Angel said this exit Teaspoon was soft with players. They should have been hit.
You do realize her whole exit interview is on the internet, right? We can go on YouTube and type in Teaspoon exit.
JK, I hope they increase the number of WNBA games in the season. They can't under the current CBA.
Not yet.
Quita can probably correct me on that, but I believe on the current CBA, the most games that they can play is 40. So they're already at the most. Now, the CBA will be renegotiated probably at the end of the 2025 season. And with 2 more teams coming, maybe that is something that they go to the players, that they go to the association with to increase their games, but I don't think they're going to increase it.
I think that's a next CBA, not this coming. I think that's a next one because I still feel like people are still like, especially college players, they're still adjusting to that because it's a big jump. It's a big jump for playing how many? If you're not making a tournament, it's a big jump.
Yeah, that's a fact too. And I mean, and that's another thing too. I don't know how much more they can increase the games with how close they are to the end of the collegiate women's season. There's just not a lot of space in that to do that. So we'll see.
Yeah, because if they play, if they played in the tournament and then they got to play a 60-game season, they gonna be dead. Like they cramping and you risking injury with these players. Like, I think I'm confident for the next 5 years it's probably gonna stay.
And I stand corrected. I had to go because Quita said they are increasing the game, so I wanted to look. So in the current CBA, 44 games is the maximum number of games allowed. So we're at 40 this season. Maybe they do go to 44. Maybe they do go to 44.
I mean, 44 ain't crazy.
It's not that too much of a difference. So
I thought it was like a big increase. Like, I thought it was going by 10 or something. If we go to 44, that's fine. If we go 44, that's
44 is still like, especially with a new team coming, 2 more teams coming soon. 44, I think, is a nice number. I think
they're gonna add 4 games for every team they add. That's what we do.
That's funny. That's hilarious, man. Any last thoughts, Steve, before we get up out of here?
Nah, just news gonna be dropping. Just because the season over don't mean nothing. We got some shit coming for y'all. Just stay tuned.
Yeah. Y'all make sure y'all stay in tune with us, man. You can follow us at Chicago Sky Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoSkyCentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We told y'all, just because the offseason's here, we're not going away. We'll be back. I think C-Dub has talked about live calling the WNBA finals as well. So you guys may see that come to the channel. But other than that, you'll be seeing our face, and we love you guys. I'll be starting my player reviews for the season here shortly, and we'll see what we got.
Yep.
All right, man. Love you guys. Go Sky. Peace, y'all. And by the way, Jeff Pagliocca, you on the damn clock, man.